Yeah, I'm gonna protect my peace, but this has been on my heart. This has been weighing on my heart because I didn't know that this was a big deal.
The real drama didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. In fact, that's when everything truly began. When filming wrapped for the final day of Love and Marriage Huntsville, fans expected smiles, hugs, and one last toast to another season of chaos and healing. But what they didn't see was the quiet storm brewing in the background, a storm that ended one of the show's most surprising friendships. Kimmi Scott officially cut ties with Nell Fletcher, and the way it went down, it left both fans and cast members speechless.
Like when people think I'm being messy. Hell, if I'm being messy, I tell you I'm being messy. I'd be the first person to tell you that I'm being messy.
At first, nobody could believe it. Kimmi, the calm one, the peacemaker, the woman who always tried to hold the group together, to see her draw that final line, it hit different. And if you think this was some petty reality TV unfollow, think again. This was deep, personal, and emotional. Because behind that quiet smile and composed tone, Kimmi had reached her breaking point. The same friend she once welcomed with open arms, the same woman she defended when others doubted her, had somehow crossed a line that Kimmi couldn't come back from.
Keep it 100. And before you get on social media, TV, YouTube, talking about what you think you know, maybe reach out to the people that you're about to talk about and ask maybe if it's true or not, because it can land you in trouble when you speak of people that's not true.
But to really understand why Kimmi finally said enough, we have to go back to how it all started, and how a friendship that once looked unshakable slowly began to crumble in silence. Kimmi and Nell's friendship didn't happen overnight. When Nell Fletcher first stepped into the Huntsville circle, she was walking into a tight-knit group filled with old wounds and unspoken rivalries. Most new faces on Love and Marriage Huntsville either sink or swim, and Nell was trying hard to swim.
Mayweather.
Over the years, I've been put in these situations many a times. Sometimes I walked away, sometimes I took it head on. And I feel that if I'm pushed too far, which I feel that I'm already at a tipping point right now, that yeah, we will be fighting.
But Kimmi, she saw something different in her. While others were skeptical, Kimmi opened her arms. She offered grace, guidance, and sisterhood. Fans noticed how genuine she was, leaving encouraging comments, showing support under Nell's posts, laughing together at events. For a while, they seemed inseparable. When tensions flared among the other cast members, Kimmi often stepped in as the calm voice in the room, and Nell admired that. The two women shared private moments, conversations about family, struggles, and personal battles. Kimmi even confided in Nell during one of her toughest seasons, when she was facing health challenges that required strength most people can't even imagine.
I think Dustin has a point, and sometimes it's hard to hear.
Her eyes were moist too.
When she said, "I'm sorry, I love you," yeah, we thought they had a turning point in St. Thomas. Like by the time we got back, things were very different. Than the energy, Destiny had by the time we got back was different than what we thought we saw while we were there.
That bond made them look unbreakable. But the truth, behind that friendship, were cracks that nobody wanted to admit were forming. Somewhere along the way, Nell's circle began to shift. She started growing closer to Letitia and Marcel Scott, Kimmi's in-laws, but not always her biggest supporters. And if you followed LAM long enough, you know the Scotts don't just bring family ties, they bring complicated history. Kimmi had always been cautious with Marcel, especially when it came to loyalty and boundaries. She'd made it clear that while family is important, she doesn't tolerate people who stir conflict for entertainment. So when Nell started appearing more often in selfies and live streams with the Scotts, fans noticed the tension. It wasn't just about who she was hanging out with, it was what it represented. Because on Love and Marriage Huntsville, friendships are alliances, and alliances mean everything. At first, Kimmi tried to brush it off. She stayed polite, stayed gracious, but the tone between them started changing. Less communication, fewer supportive comments, shorter replies. And when fans began asking why the two weren't interacting like before, the silence said it all. Then came the final filming week, the moment that changed everything. The last days on set are usually emotional. Cast members laugh, reminisce, maybe even shed a few tears. But this time, the energy was different. Everyone could feel it. The air was heavy, the smiles were forced, and the tension between Kimmi and Nell was impossible to ignore. According to insiders, it started small. A few awkward exchanges during group scenes, Kimmi avoiding eye contact, Nell pretending not to notice. Producers reportedly had to adjust schedules to keep the peace, filming scenes separately when things got too uncomfortable. Then came the final cast dinner, the supposed celebration that turned into quiet chaos. Nell arrived first, smiling, ready to play nice. But when Kimmi walked in, the atmosphere shifted instantly. What was supposed to be a farewell toast turned into a cold standoff. They barely spoke. When the cameras stopped rolling, Kimmi reportedly excused herself early. She was done pretending. What fans didn't see on camera was what happened after. That's when Kimmi made her decision to completely cut ties. She didn't make a scene, didn't go on a rant. Instead, she made one quiet move that said everything. She blocked Nell on social media. In the world of Love and Marriage Huntsville, that's not a small step. That's a statement. When fans noticed Kimmi had unfollowed and blocked Nell, the internet exploded. Screenshots flooded Twitter, Facebook groups lit up, and everyone had one question: what happened after filming ended? Theories started flying. Some said there was a heated off-camera argument. Others believed it had something to do with a comment Nell allegedly made about Kimmi's health, a remark that didn't sit right and felt like a low blow. No one knows exactly what was said, but sources close to production claimed Kimmi felt disrespected and deeply hurt. And for a woman who's built her reputation on grace and patience, that kind of wound doesn't heal easily. Kimmi had given Nell loyalty, friendship, and trust, and from her point of view, she didn't get that same respect back. So she did what she felt she had to do. She closed that door quietly but firmly. Of course, the fallout didn't end there. Once the block went public, the fan base split right down the middle. Team Kimmi applauded her for protecting her peace. They said she'd been through too much to tolerate anyone who didn't bring positive energy into her space. Especially after her health journey and the emotional strain of filming, people understood why she distanced herself from drama. One fan wrote, "Kimmi doesn't owe anyone explanations. She's choosing peace, and I respect that." But Team Nell had a different story. They believed Kimmi overreacted. Some claimed she was trying to control the narrative, cutting Nell off to make herself look like the victim before the reunion aired. Others dug into old episodes, trying to find clues that pointed to cracks in their friendship earlier in the season. Then, Nell posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story that read, "Sometimes silence speaks louder than words." No names mentioned, but everyone knew who it was about. Not long after, Kimmi posted a quote of her own, "Distance brings peace, and peace is priceless." That was all it took. The digital chess match had begun. Both women stayed subtle. No direct call-outs, no shouting matches. But their posts, likes, and story shares did all the talking. Fans watched in real time as the tension unfolded without a single word being said. And just like that, A friendship that once felt like genuine sisterhood turned into quiet estrangement. Behind the scenes, things got even messier. Maurice Scott, Kimmi's husband, was caught in the middle. He reportedly tried to ease the tension, calling both women, hoping to bring peace before things spiraled. But when family is involved, it's never simple. Because while Maurice wanted calm, Marçal and Letitia allegedly weren't helping. Rumor has it that certain conversations, meant to stay private, somehow started leaking out. Emotional details Kimmi may have shared in confidence made their way into whispers around town. To Kimmi, that was more than betrayal. That was a violation of trust. It's one thing when a friendship ends. It's another when personal pain becomes gossip. By the time the reunion talk started, the damage was done. Kimmi wasn't entertaining fake peace or forced apologies. She made her boundaries clear. And according to production whispers, she even requested not to film with certain cast members if Nell was present. For someone like Kimmi, who's always carried herself with grace, that decision spoke volumes. It wasn't about revenge or anger, it was about self-protection. She'd survived too much to let negativity drain her again. But what about Nell? While Kimmi drew her line publicly, Nell went quiet. No shade posts, no interviews, just calm yoga pictures and peaceful captions. It looked like she was rising above the noise, but insiders claim her silence was strategic. Apparently, Nell was planning to tell her side, in her own time, on her own platform. Some say she felt production painted her unfairly during filming, editing her reactions to make her look messy while showing Kimmi as the composed, mature one. That kind of portrayal can sting, especially when you feel your truth was never heard. Whether she'll speak out or not, one thing's clear: both women walked away from the friendship changed. For Kimmi, this wasn't just a TV fallout, it was emotional. She's always prided herself on loyalty and authenticity, so losing a friend she once trusted deeply wasn't something she celebrated, it was something she mourned. People close to her say she's focusing on healing, prioritizing her peace, and protecting her energy. She's learned that not everyone you break bread with is meant to sit at your table forever. For Nell, the distance may have come as a shock, but it also forced her to reflect on who's really in her corner. Being painted as the villain, whether fair or not, isn't easy, especially on a public platform where every move is judged and dissected. And while both women may never speak publicly about what truly happened, fans can feel the emotional weight in the silence between them. So where does that leave Love and Marriage Huntsville? As the new season looms, everyone's watching to see whether Kimmi and Nell will even share scenes again. Some insiders claim producers are rethinking how to handle their storyline, especially since real-life tension often fuels ratings. But Kimmi's stance seems clear. She's not entertaining anything that risks her mental peace. The reunion will likely decide it all. Will the two women finally address what went down after the final filming day? Or will they keep their distance and let fans keep guessing? Either way, one thing's certain, the days of Kimmi and Nell laughing together on screen are gone. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Because once upon a time, their friendship represented hope, proof that real bonds could survive the chaos of reality TV. But when trust is broken and respect fades, sometimes the only way forward is apart. Kimmi didn't just block Nell online, she blocked out the pain, the confusion, and the energy that no longer served her. And maybe that's the lesson we're supposed to take from this. Peace isn't always about forgiving others. Sometimes it's about finally choosing yourself. So what do you think really happened after that final filming day? Was Kimmi right to protect her peace, or did she take it too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're living for this drama, and don't forget to subscribe for more Love and Marriage Huntsville tea, because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the cameras might stop, But the real drama never does.